You're listening to Empress Conversations podcast with your host, Maggie Peary. Conversations with Maggie. Empress. Join us next time on the next episode of Empress Conversations with Maggie. To learn more about guests or for more information on working with Maggie, go to www.empressconversationswithmaggie.com/get-started.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Empress Conversations with Maggie. Today, my guest is the esteemed Dr. Donna Bellinger. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Maggie. It's a pleasure to be here.
It is such a pleasure to have you. Today, I'm so excited to speak with you because you are the sales guru. Dr. Bellinger is the owner of DS Bellinger Consulting, an agency she's had for over 50 years. And she is the sales consulting trainer, guru, sales everything. So let's talk about how you got started in your role and how things are going.
Thank you, Maggie. I discovered that sales was my natural language when I was in high school, actually. And I had a natural affinity for customer service and also for sales. I used to sell magazine subscriptions over the telephone. So after I had my first child, I was disowned by my family because I was straight out of high school. And I had to create my own way. One of my big breakthroughs, and I say that the majority of the breakthroughs that have occurred for me in my career have come from people, and people, I want you to really embrace this, who saw more in me than I saw in myself.
Wow.
Okay. They saw more in me than I saw in myself. I had things telling me what I couldn't do. And they would place me in situations where I had to do it. So my first management position occurred when I was in my 20s. I went to a technical school to learn a particular computer skill set. And by the time I finished that program, 8 months later, I was named their first assistant admissions director. And I stayed in trade and technical schools for over a decade. Then I moved over into sales leadership and training on the corporate side. And while I was doing that, I was still doing, the side gig, a little bit of something on the side, because all it takes is losing your first job to determine that you will never give anyone that much power over you again.
Yes.
So there was no corporate entity that would determine how I took care of my children. I wasn't going to have that one. Eventually, many, many years later, I co-founded a technical firm, and we did data security. But I got very tired of having to sidestep the fact that I was a woman, that I was a woman of color. At first, I was too young. Then eventually, they began to tell me I was too old. And then there were always the political things that were going on. And no one ever takes a job to kill themselves to make somebody else's dreams come true.
Yes.
That is not the thing. So work is what you do to finance who you want to become and how you choose to serve. That's what work is.
Say that one more time.
Absolutely. Work is what you do to finance who you want to become and how you choose to serve.
I love that.
But that's actually what it is. And because, like I said, we don't kill ourselves to make somebody else's dreams come true. On the other hand, if you've started a business or if you're doing some other things, no one ever goes in the business to lose money. So you don't want your business to turn into a job that you own.
Makes sense.
And these are some of the first things that I cover with my clients. My initial question typically is this: how much money do you need your business to pay you? Now, that's not how much money do you need your business to earn. Because the first 35% goes to taxes.
Yes.
You've got operational costs. You've got
Yes.
da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
Yes.
But how much money do you need? Because once we become very clear on what you need, then we can deal with the packaging, the pricing, the audience, all of those other things. And it's amazing to me how many people will spend tons of money on websites and social media and all of these other things, but they don't know what they want. And they don't become clear on how they choose to serve. And so I go all the way into that before we start talking about what the script should be like, where you need to be networking, how you need to follow up, all of those other little things. Those things are easy.
Yes.
But the first person that you have to sell on your business is you.
Yourself. Well said. Well said. I love everything that you've just described. As you are mentioning and telling us your story, and I'm thinking to myself as I'm listening, a business that is not sustainable, if you are not generating profit or not making money, you have an expensive hobby. So turning that around to where, let's say someone who's just started and they have no clue what a sales process is, how would you help?
That is typically my ideal client.
Oh, wonderful.
A number of my clients are people who left corporate because they got tired of whatever. The community, the lack of community, the politics.
Yes.
We all have a lot of different reasons why we may choose to leave corporate.
Yes.
The management. All of, because sometimes I have worked for firms where people on my so-called team, I swore, stayed up late at night casting spells to try and make me trip up. I was like, am I your hobby? What? Because this stuff would just keep happening. So for whatever reason you choose to leave that corporate environment to get paid for your skill set, the first thing that you must learn how to do, and even if you're still in corporate and you're trying to get that promotion, that raise, the lead on a particular project, whatever, you must learn how to consistently communicate your competence. Consistently communicate your competence. In other words, the first thing you must learn to do is have a value-driven conversation, answering the question, why choose you? And that's one of the first things that I cover with my clients, because there's a tendency to drop a lot of unnecessary information. You may want to use a lot of corporate speak. That doesn't relate to your new client base. You may have the temptation to say, well, I'm related to this person. I attended this college. I. Guess what? They don't care.
No.
They want to talk to you because they have a problem. They have a challenge. You said you had a solution. Cut to the chase. And so that is one of the things that I start out with all of my clients. I have clients who love to name drop. I'm good friends with this person, and I've done things for that person. And it's like, I don't care. I don't care. I'm not making enough money. I'm not getting enough visits to my website. My clients are not coming back. They're one and done. I have too much turnover in my business and I can't keep my top people. What am I doing wrong? My clients buy one time and then they ghost me. I have a database of people that I've served previously, but I can't get them to come back into the conversation. I'm attending a lot of networking events and I'm having a lot of conversations, but nobody's buying. These are the things that we have to address. And frequently it comes down to fear.
Wow.
Frequently, it comes down to fear, which is why I say that the first person you have to sell in your business is yourself.
Self. Yes.
Because you need to be not arrogant, not arrogant. They don't care about that either. But you need to be able to communicate your value. And you need to be able to discern if you are indeed speaking to the right person and making the right invitation to them. You know, we've all been to networking events where it's like speed dating. They grab a bunch of, I got a stack right here. They grab a bunch of cards and they start dealing them out like breath mints at church.
Yes.
Okay. That's not going to do it because they're going to look at that later and they'll be like, okay, so why? Why do I have this? I don't know. Toss it. You know, I don't remember this person. Let it go. All right. Or you follow up and the first thing you do is start pitching. You don't know what they need. You don't know what their story is. You don't understand how to serve. So the second thing I cover with my clients is how to effectively pre-qualify a person to determine if indeed this is going to be a good use of your time.
Yes.
Because your time is your most valuable resource. That's the one thing you have the same amount of as any billionaire.
That is correct.
That is your most valuable resource. On my website, under free resources, I have a little tool called a time value calculator. If you go to askdsb.com, you will go under free resources. You'll click on time value calculator. And it asks you things like, how much do you need to make? How many hours do you want to work? How productive are you? How many days do you want to work? I did a presentation for Microsoft once, and we talked about this particular thing. And when people went through it on their little phones, you know, they got their phones, they can do the widget and thing. And one of the attendees determined that her time value was actually like about $300 an hour. Now, let me tell you what the deal is. If you say it's $200 an hour, I'll do that one. It's easier. If you're going to an event,
yes,
and your time for business development is worth $200 an hour, it takes you an hour to get ready and get there.
Yes.
You'll spend about 2 hours there, more or less. Another hour to get back, times $200 an hour. That's $800.
It is.
Who in that room can introduce you to an opportunity that's worth $800? If there's nobody in that room that can do that, that's not a good room for you to be in. Take a pass.
So good. So good.
Take a pass. So, but what happened in this particular instance was she saw that she was worth $300 an hour. She was sitting next to someone she knew. And she looked at him and she said, why am I sitting next to you? You're not going to pay me $300 an hour. And it was just so funny to hear that. But another client of mine, we determined, because she did a lot of brand expertise, she was in conversations with Nike. And people don't get thrown by these names that I'm throwing out because I work with people who do catering. I work with people who do smaller things as well. But these are just a couple of examples. And she said, I think she was working with Nike at the time. She says, I've had 2 meetings with these people, and now they want to schedule a 3rd meeting. I said, wait a minute. What did we determine your time was worth? She says $1,200 an hour. Okay, if your time is worth $1,200 an hour, you tell them, I have already invested $2,400 into your company without compensation. We need to make a decision.
Boom, just like that.
Just like that. And I told her to do that. She went back. A couple hours later, I got a call. I got the contract. I'm like, yes, because she drew the line in the sand on that. It's like, no, I'm not going to keep coming back. Why? I'm not begging. for your business.
And they
Because
have the budget.
they'll string you along
Mm-hmm.
forever.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing that happens when they do that is they're actually trying to pick your brain to get the formula.
Ah, there it is.
There it is. So the third thing that I work with my people on is how to have an effective revenue-driven conversation without giving away what you charge for.
Dr. Donna, let's pause for 1 second. I had to say that so I could get comfortable. I'm so sorry, but my eye's having an allergic reaction and I've got tears over here, so forgive me. Okay, let me just move that. 1 second. Okay. Maggie, edit this whole section out. 5, 4, 3, 2. Dr. Donna, before you go into that third secret you're going to give us, please share how our listening audience can find you. We need your social, we need your website, all of that good information so people can follow up and, talk to you and get in contact, please.
Well, thank you so much. You can go to my website, www.askdsb.com. Ask DSB, like my name that you see down, right there. Yeah, askdsb.com. You can schedule a no obligation 20-minute chat with me, or you can also schedule a no cost sales process review with me, where I will ask you, okay, so what is your process right now? How do you get your clients? Where are you finding them? What do you say to them? And as you can tell by what we've done in this short amount of time that we've been together, I'm very, very good at picking out where the disconnects are. I tell my clients frequently, you are not broken and you don't need fixing. I'm not going to say you're wrong, but you don't know what you don't know.
Yes, yes.
When I work with my clients, and we were talking about pre-qualification, one of the things that you have to be very, very aware of is what you excel at, what's a good client for you, and then ask the required questions to ensure that they fit. So please, if you're doing your introduction at a networking event or something like that, trust me, you are not looking for somebody, anybody, everybody.
Correct.
And the reason is you don't like people like that. The first book that I wrote was called You Lost Me at Hello, Actionable Principles That Move You Beyond Networking. And in that first chapter, I said, and this is the way I talk to my clients too. So just, if you can't hang, don't call me.
Bring it.
Because I'm not going to change.
No, Dr. Donna, please bring it.
I said, not everyone is going to like you.
Yes.
And you really don't want them to because it's too time consuming. You can't satisfy everyone.
Everybody. Agree.
There are billions of people on the planet for a reason. All you want are your people. Consider right now with your business, how many new clients can you handle right now to the highest level of your ability? Is it 10? Is it 50? Is it 100? So quit trying to serve everybody. All you want are those people so that you can build capacity and the foundation to 1, 2, 3, 10x. It's amazing to me people who say, I need to 10x this thing. I said, you've been reading too much social. How many people can you serve so that you get a great recommendation? The mission statement for my business is the work that I do must affect more than the bottom line, because it's not the transaction, it's the testimony.
Ooh, I love that.
The recommendation is what keeps you going forward.
Yes.
If you're dealing with transactions, you will always be fishing. That's a lot of work.
It is.
That's a lot of work.
It is.
One of the not so secrets that I share with my people is I trademarked a term called a yes-testimonial. A yes-testimonial. If you go
Play off of
to
testimonial here, which
yes-testimonial. So
good.
if you go onto my LinkedIn profile, you will see that I have over 40 recommendations in there. The majority of them end with what I call a money line. And that money line is, as a result of working with Donna, I won an award. I retained more clients. My close rate improved greatly. My team performed even better. Someone will read those recommendations and say, yes, that's the challenge I have, and she knows how to fix it. That's why I call it a yes-testimonial. You want them to read the recommendation and say, yes, this person can solve my pain.
You've got my yes-testimonial. I love it. That's a new word to be added on. I love it, Dr. Donna. That is wonderful.
And far too often, even if you're telling me right now, well, Dr. Donna, I'm just starting my business. I don't have a whole lot of recommendations and things. You do. This is, again, you haven't sold yourself. You do. The reason that you chose to go into this business is because people told you what you did had an impact for them.
Yes.
Go back to them. Ask them to explain how you were able to help them or what they were able to accomplish as a result of being in your space. Those are the beginnings of your yes-testimonials. It doesn't matter if you charged them. It doesn't matter if you only charged them 50 cents. That's not going in there. But someone said, yes, you got it. Yes, you helped me. So even if you're getting started next week, next month, whatever, then you already have these recommendations.
Indeed.
That's what gave you the power in here to say, I'm fed up and sick and tired of being sick and tired. I'm going to go and do my own thing.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Dr. Donna, help us without giving away the formula. A lot of women in business may be challenged with imposter syndrome. Others, it could be just paralyzed by fear. But again, without giving away the formula, what would you say? Sales is one of the toughest things, especially for women. Either they hate it, they overwhelmed by it. How do women, especially, overcome that challenge in order to have a sustainable business that provides money on a recurring, consistent basis?
We all know that when you create something,
yes,
every copy you make of it is less sharp than the original.
Indeed.
Okay?
Yes.
So you need to be the original you to reach your people.
Yes.
Don't, go back to, not everybody's going to like you. That's fine. But you're going to have your own group of people. Now, speaking to women, we are raised to be of service. And we are raised to have a certain outward thing. We're always worried about being liked.
Yes.
Will they like me? I mean, it happens in school. It happens on the job. I want to be with the it people.
Yes.
And those people are not going to pay your bills. Think about the people that you can depend on. Most of us have. We may not have a lot of associates, but we can probably count on one hand how many true friends we have.
Absolutely.
Okay? So, and those true friends don't care what you're wearing, what size you are, any of those other things. They see this. Those are the people that you want to work with. And I'm not saying go out and sign up all of your friends. That's not going to work. But be genuinely you. As a child, my father taught us, it was so interesting. He says, I don't lie because it takes too much energy to remember it.
So true. So true.
So don't try to be something you're not. It takes up too much energy. Know what you do, and you do better than anyone else. Now, the next thing you need to, when we're addressing the fear, is let go of the word sales. If you hate sales, fine. Don't use the word sales.
Okay.
Don't use the word sales. Just, poof, it's gone.
It's gone.
It's service. Each person you're speaking to, how can you serve them? Well, you can serve them by helping them alleviate their challenge. Yes? Okay,
Yes.
so when you were talking to them and they say, oh, case in point, I had a young woman who felt that her boss was overlooking her for opportunities. Her team was, not giving her the respect she deserved. That's actually a service conversation. She needed to learn the language of her boss to present her solutions in a way that he would process it. That was the challenge. And we created the dialogue to address that challenge.
Okay.
All right. So it's not sales, it's service. After she and I worked together for about 9 months, we had improved her earning by 30%.
Wow.
30%. And she was always struggling with relationships and things because she was trying to pretend to be something that was not genuinely her. And she has been with the same wonderful man now for over 7 years. They are disgustingly happy.
I love that.
Because you need to be able to just communicate who you are and be very secure in what you do and what you don't.
Makes sense.
One of the programs that I've offered as a short seminar is knowing your non-negotiables. Knowing your non-negotiables. It can be something as simple as, I don't work weekends because I'm going to school, or whatever your reason happens to be. I don't answer the phone after 6 o'clock. I just don't. You can shoot me a text. I'll take a look at it. If it has enough urgency, I may respond. But if you call me, you're going to get voicemail. Because, pardon me, my husband is home and he married me for a reason. So
Yes.
We're sitting there and we're talking and we're having dinner and we're sharing our lives. I'm confident enough in what I do to be able to set these parameters. That, my friends, is the difference between being a peddler and being a professional.
Oh, well said.
Knowing your non-negotiables.
Those non-negotiables, those boundaries, clearly I'm not available at 5:01 from Friday 5:01 until Monday morning at 8 a.m. Those are hard barriers. We will not cross that line because that breaks into the whole work-life balance, right? I mean, if you start easing up on some of that stuff, before you know it, Sunday morning, you're up working, and it shouldn't be all of that. You gotta have those boundaries.
Now, if you choose to do it for yourself, but again, remember, work is what you do to finance who you want to become and whom you choose to serve.
Yes.
All right. So I'm not going to kill myself by eliminating my boundaries to make your dreams come true. I have my own dreams.
Yes.
One of the other things that are under free resources on my website, askdsb.com, is the perfect day. This is a meditation that I ask you to walk through.
Okay.
And as you go through this, you're going to create whatever your perfect day happens to be. And I've had people give me wonderful responses to that. Like, I woke up, and this is a true story. She says, I woke up, looked through the window, saw the ocean, sat up in my bed, and she named the kind of mattress she was sleeping on. And I moved my satin sheets, and I put my toes down in my flocati rug, and I was just dying laughing. I was like, come on, baby, bring it, bring it. But when you go through all of that, my bills are paid, my children are set up, or my parents are taken care of, or whatever.
Yes.
I will ask you then, when you go to bed and you lay your head down at the end of that
Mm,
absolutely perfect day
mm.
in preparation for the next morning, what's next? What's next? Because typically when we outline our perfect day, it's something that we somewhere in here feel is not achievable.
Mm.
We don't believe it's like to dream the impossible dream kind of a thing. It's not. When I work with my clients, I ask them, what is your desired outcome? And then we work on the deliverables to get you there.
Makes
And
sense.
as we're going through that, I'm always asking, okay, so what's next? And what's next? And that became very important to me. I owned a tech firm at one
Mhm.
point in time. I was a partner in a tech firm. And that was a conversation I would have with all of my tech clients. Okay, what is the immediate change that needs to happen? It's this. Okay, and then what do you want to have happen next? 5 months, 5 years, whatever. Well, we need this. All right, so this isn't going to get you there. So this is what we need to do. So it's not buying the next shiny object
Mm.
that's going to get you from here to here. It's being very clear here and here so that we take the necessary steps to build the momentum that you need to create your perfect day and the business that will serve you.
Dr. Donna, this is why you are so good at what you do. I would like to change the topic for just a little bit here and focus on speaking the language. So, talk to us about your speaking career and your topic that you have coined, speaking the language.
Speaking the language is not our logic. That's the first thing that you have to learn when you're speaking the language of your client. Everyone has their own way of communicating. And if you
Mm,
start to listen carefully to people, you will discover some people speak in numbers. They're very linear. You're
yes,
looking for a process.
yes,
Other people are going to speak to you in pictures. Oh, well, what I dreamed it would be like is, and
yes,
it's that kind of a thing. Other people, if you don't ask, you don't get. So if you don't say, well, what else would you like to see happen? If you're a realtor, you're going to listen to how are they worried about resale value? Or are they worried about the white picket fence and how they're going to show up to their friends or creating something for retirement? Whatever. You have to listen to their logic and then wrap your solution into the way that they communicate. And
mm,
I spend a great deal of time also with my clients on things like that. So I'm not that person who says, you got to make this many calls and then you have to say this. That's not going to get you where you need to be. Yes, you need to monitor those metrics.
yes.
But when you are having the conversation with your prospect, you need to be very, very clear. So another thing to do with language is I have an acronym that I use called SPA. Ladies, you know what a SPA is, right?
Of
SPA,
course.
SPA. Here's my definition for that. Suspects,
Okay.
prospects, ambassadors. Anyone that you meet is going to fall into one of those three categories. They
Okay.
will be a suspect, someone you suspect you'll be able to do business with, but probably not right this minute. Maybe they buy seasonally. Maybe their budget hasn't been, done yet or whatever, but you suspect this is going to be warm. It's just not warm today. Your prospect is warm to hot. This is a person who's picking up what you're putting down. They're saying, yeah, that's something I've been trying to solve for a while. That's your prospect. They're worthy of follow up. And you must listen to how they articulate that challenge and then
Mm,
move into the pre-qualification. So when you're working with a prospect, you're going to say things like, well, how long have you had this challenge? Well, what have you already tried? Ooh, how much did all of those things cost you? How much is it costing you not to get this fixed? In health and wellness, that's real important because
yeah.
they're quick to tell you, oh, I can't afford that. Really? How many times you've been to the doctor in the last 6 months? What is your copay? How many medications do they have you on? What if my solution is less than you've already invested in something that is obviously not working? Would you be interested in hearing about that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So that's suspects and prospects. Ambassador is a person who probably will never be your ideal client for any number of reasons. Maybe you don't have the capacity to do what they need done. It's like the vice president of United Airlines, but they can invite you into a room of your ideal clients. They can introduce you to additional opportunities. Or in my case, they may see things in you that you did not see in yourself. That's how I wound up hosting a television show, a public access TV show. I was there. The host didn't show up. They knew me. They were like, Donna, you're on. I'm like, quit playing. And I was like, no. And I wound up doing it for a couple of years. They saw something in me that I never said, oh, I want to host a TV show. But they said, no, really, you can do TV, you can do radio, you can facilitate. I'm like, well, hello. All right.
I love it. So not only do you have TV host, radio, corporate, all of these things under your belt, right behind you, you have a copy of your own book that you authored, The Glass Ceiling. How exciting is that?
That was a lot of fun. It's a collaborative book, pardon me, and I was working with 9 phenomenal women who had accomplished incredible things. One out of Florida led the one of the Florida correctional systems, penal systems, for over 2 decades. One is a master electrician.
Wow.
In a male-dominated space.
Yes.
And so we all have these wonderful, wonderful stories. And we all collaborated to put this together again, because work is what you do to finance who you want to become and how you choose to serve. So if you're starting to get this little, I can't do that because, these are the little poisonous words that will get you. 2, TOO, and enough. So you can say, I can't do this because I'm too young, I'm too old, I'm too undereducated, I'm too. Or I'm not enough. I'm not enough this, I'm not enough that. For me, I was like, well, I can't do it because I'm too fat. No. Do you know that when you make them enough money, they don't care what you look like? You could be plaid with pink polka dots. They don't care.
They said that about Oprah.
There you go. So you must eliminate those words. I'm not enough this, or I'm too that. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. Yeah. The first person you have to sell on your value is yourself. And that's one of the lessons that I went through as I worked with turning everyday people just like your audience into high performers in business. And sales is not transactional. It is a conversation. Babies sell you from the crib. Why? They know who to smile for and who to cry for.
Yes. And have you wrapped around their little finger with that, just a little look, and you're done for.
That's sales.
Yes.
They know their target market.
Absolutely.
They know their objective. What's the objective? I want to be held. I want a bottle. I want that.
Yes, I need to be changed. Yes, all of that good stuff.
Yeah. Yes,
wow.
Yes.
Dr. Donna, as we are speaking here, and I'm so excited, tell us how your ideal tribe, your ideal people, once again, can find you. Who is your ideal target audience? Who would be the absolute right person to work with you? Talk to us about who would be the right person to work with you right now.
I love to work with owner operators. So if you have a business that is not where you need it to be, I don't care if you're what I call my kitchen table entrepreneur, or you have a team. If you have a revenue model that looks like the pattern on Charlie Brown's shirt, it's not consistent.
Yes.
I would love to have a conversation with you regarding your sales process or lack thereof, and also how you're leveraging opportunities or not. And that is my best thing. So I do workshops, I do webinars, I have VIP clients that I work with one-on-one because they need to make money now, not eventually. So they don't want to join another program that says, okay, in 6 months, we're going to cover these 12 things. And you got to wait until the 7th month to get your real question answered. I don't do that. I say, where do you need to be? What's the time frame on it? And this is what we're going to have to budget for as far as your investment is going to be. I do have a masterclass coming up in December. That's a great way to get a piece of me. It is 3 2-hour sessions, $297. I don't take a lot of people in those. Typically 10 people is what I'm looking for. So I can do a lot of hot seats and I can do a lot of those other things. Again, because it's not about the transaction. I want you to tell the world what the transformation was for you by attending that. And that's why I do that at a low price. So in December for this, in December for this masterclass, I think this is the best way to evaluate the effectiveness of what you did in this year and how to lay the foundation for really getting off the ground running in the coming year. And learning how to plan these things out so that you can create consistent revenue. And the masterclass is called Income Incubator. We are going to show you how to make money without feeling sleazy, icky, fearful, not enough, or too.
Makes sense. Makes absolute sense. As we get ready to wrap up here, Dr. Donna, what are your final parting words of wisdom that you'd like our listening audience to know about you?
One of my favorite quotes comes from Eleanor Roosevelt.
Yes.
She said, never allow anyone to tell you no who does not also have the authority to tell you yes.
Powerful.
Yes, indeed. Because far too frequently we talk to people who are not the decision maker. And when they say no, we're like, okay.
That's not the person.
And that's the power of pre-qualification. But you never allow anyone to tell you no who does not also have the power, the authority to tell you yes. The other thing is those who are not willing to do the work should not stand in the way of the people who are.
Boom. Done. That right there needs to be on a billboard somewhere. I love it. I love it. And once again, we can find Dr. Donna at askdsb.com.
And you can also connect with me on LinkedIn.
Very good. Dr. Donna, this has been an absolute pleasure. I look forward to hearing more from you and continuing to stay in touch with you. It was such a pleasure and learned so much in the short time we had together today.
Thank you, Maggie. I appreciate you sharing your platform and your audience with me.
Oh, thank you.
You're listening to Empress Conversations podcast with your host, Maggie Peary. Conversations with Maggie. Empress. Join us next time on the next episode of Empress Conversations with Maggie. To learn more about guests or for more information on working with Maggie, go to www.empressconversationswithmaggie.com/get-started.